20th century was approaching to its end. Europe, Balkans, in 1992. War between local Serbs, Croats, and Muslims. People suffering, casualties. Since the truth is always the first victim of every war, suffering of Serbian people could never reach the media. Muslims and Croats formed more than 500 prison camps where they held, brutally tortured, starved to death, and outrageously killed Serbs, mostly civilians. Muslim soldiers used their Serbian prisoners as a labor force. Prisoners were kept on a 60-foot-long leash while forced to dig trenches towards Serbian lines. Serbian soldiers chose retreat rather than shoot on their compatriots. Only after Muslim soldiers seized the Serbian defense lines in Sarajevo, using the prisoners as a human shield, did the Serbian soldiers have to return the fire.
My name is Leo Čović. I am citizen of United States of America. I am Serbian Orthodox Christian. I was born 39 years ago. My brother was killed by Muslim people during the war in Bosnia. During the war in Bosnia, I was in prison 3.5 years.
Muslim soldiers took me away from my home. They took us allegedly for investigation or to make a statement. Some of us who were taken away stayed in prison of war, concentration camp for 2 years, some of us 3 years or even more. POW concentration camp was in Tarčinu, my hometown. There was no reason, not even an accusation, for me to be imprisoned. The only one reason is I am a Serb. But in the meantime, while imprisoned, Muslims charged me with biological extermination of non-Serbian population. They took away 6 Serbs from my village. It was the village mostly populated with Serbian people. They imprisoned us in one cell with 30 other Serbs, who already were in terrible health conditions. Some of them had been bitten and had bad bruises. Some of them moaned, some of them said we would never go out. Some of them told that the war would be over soon. We slept on the bare concrete floor. Nothing else was there. Floor and all walls were just concrete. During the winter cold, starting in December, snow covered half of our dungeon cell and all the prisoners who slept on the floor. We could not go out. We had everything in the same cell: toilet, bathroom, dining, sleeping. The only discipline method was a bat. The Muslim prison guards did not need to tighten discipline, because not one of us prisoners ever knew when his name would be called out and taken to be beaten to death. We heard screams and moans every day and night. Someone who was beaten was told that his former Muslim friend, or his best friend, marriage witness or schoolmate, recommended him. Sometimes it was just a revenge for old rivalry over a same girlfriend. That was the time for Muslims' revenge. I grew up together with them, Muslim prison guards. We went to school together. We played soccer together. We ate together. Went out together with our girlfriends. I was supposed to be a marriage witness, the best man for some of our guards. With some of them, I spent 12 years in the same class at school, but when the war started, everything changed. My regular weight has always been 180 pounds, as it is now as well. Once in prison, my weight was only 99 pounds. I gained some weight when I left prison. Our neighbors, Muslims, who kept us in prison and starved us, told us that there was no food. How come, when we were imprisoned in a silo, fully loaded with wheat? Many of us, Serbian prisoners, died of hunger. We, who had to work outside, used to share cigarettes or pieces of bread. On our way out to work every day, we had to share 2 or 3 cigarettes. On our way back to prison, a guard would ask us if we had a cigarette to spare. What could we do? We had to give him a cigarette. It was better. Otherwise, he would take it by force. Our guards needed everything: canned food, clothes, shoes, and whatever we, the prisoners, had. It was just what they needed, even sugar or salt. Sometimes we had to unload trucks of canned food for the Muslim army. The warders would ask us to steal some cans for them, because some Muslims' eyes were always bigger than their stomach. It was an awkward situation. They guarded us, but we had to steal a can of food for warder, and later we would give it to them. That was the opportunity for us to take a can of food for ourselves. We would give a warder one and hold one for ourselves. One Serbian prisoner's house was so close, a few yards to the silo, or dungeon. His mother would wait to see him every day, but they were not allowed to see each other. It was strictly forbidden. Muslim civilians were told that in the silo, guards hold imprisoned Serbo-Chetniks. When Muslim people would come to buy some wheat from the silo, they would ask guards to allow them to see what Chetniks looked like. Once, some Muslim woman asked to see the Chetniks, and the guards agreed. When she saw us, she was surprised and said, "Oh, they are men, just common people." I really do not know who or what she expected to see. Sometimes prisoners' jobs were to unload whole semi-trucks full of flour bags. For sure, there were millions of bags and only 2 prisoners per truck. We unloaded every shipment of flour for whole Sarajevo. When we worked well, our guards ironically assumed that we recuperated, got some stamina, so the next day meals were reduced for all of us. My friend Mladen Chicha had to carry wooden planks during the severe winter. It was so cold that his fingers were frozen and his nails hurt. Mladen Chicha, he is now in Houston, Texas. I remember when we carried those planks 7 or 8 hours a day. The boards were so heavy because they were green lumber, 27 feet long and 1.5 feet wide. We had to carry planks sometimes 6 miles, sometimes 12 miles. After 2 miles, we were exhausted, especially on the uphill terrain. We carried the boards from the one creek all the way to the top of the mountain in the middle of the bitter winter. We did not have any strength because we did not have proper food. The terrain was so steep that normally one couldn't go uphill even without a heavy board. The worst problem was when a board accidentally fell off the cliff. We had to go down, pick up the board, and continue to the top of the mountain. That is how Mladen Chicha lost his fingernails. When we were back in the silo, prison, I had to help him with everything. I had to feed him and even help him with the toilet. Some prisoners managed to escape. Nobody escaped from the silo. The prison. They escaped from the workplace. Once after 2 prisoners escaped, the guards executed the next 3 prisoners who worked nearby. But the other group of prisoners, 6 of them, on the other place, managed to escape altogether. Nobody left behind. My hardest moment was when my first daughter was born and I couldn't see her. I knew I had become a parent, the father, but while in prison I was deprived of real feelings as a father. Now with my 2 younger children, I really know how it looks like to be a father, because I have been with my children from the beginning. I watched them growing up. That was the hardest moment. Every day we had to dig a trench for the Muslim army around the one building in Sarajevo. It was a workshop about 50 yards long and 30 yards wide, and there were pitched hand-to-hand battles between the Serbs' army and the Muslims' army for that building. But we had to dig. Sometimes after work, we left the shovels upside down in the trench. It happened many times that we could not find some of the shovels. A bomb exploded where we were a few minutes ago and destroyed the shovels. We worked there so hard. Some prisoners had to dig 6, 7 days and nights in a row. Many prisoners got killed. Some prisoners were killed on Mountain Igman during the work. Some prisoners were killed while they were digging a trench. One of the prisoners from my group was killed while we were working in Sarajevo, while 15 prisoners were wounded. I did not expect anything. When they imprisoned me, I stopped thinking. We could only wait.
You want to wake up, to free yourself of the image of Europa. But it is not possible.